Hello. It's been a while. Sort of end up making these once every 5 or 6 months. That's sort of how it's been going. Although I might do some more readings a little bit more than just posting karaoke. I don't know. I'm kind of okay. Mostly things are good. Just little things, on the inside still eat away at you a little bit sometimes. And, it'd be nice to have other outlets to talk about them with, because when you talk to people, when I talk to people, there is a lens in which I sort of filter things through as I'm opening up, kind of how they'll receive it, being able to be open with some things on this, with this person, and other things with that person. But, I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of radical honesty on the internet yet. Like, I don't know, being essayed recently or something like that. Having to deal with the consequences of that instead of just pretending it never happened. Oh, look, I worked the name of the book in. The Original Plan, Back to the Original Plan. Jenny Lawson, the Bloggess, wonderful, wonderful, sweet human being, wrote this book a while ago, and I'm going to read a little bit of it with you. Once again, I do not have permission, and Jenny, if you would like me to stop, I will stop at any time. Let's see. I don't even think we're that far. Yeah, we're like... My bookmarks are pretty cute. I feel like this is the first chapter. My childhood. David Copperfield meets Guns and Ammo magazine. I've managed to pinpoint several key differences between my childhood and that of pretty much anyone else in the entire fucking world. I call these points 11 things most people have never experienced or could have even possibly imagined, but that totally happened to me, because apparently I did something awful in a former life that I'm still being punished for. Number 1. Most people have never stood inside a dead animal. Unless you count that time when Luke Skywalker crawled inside that tauntaun to keep from freezing to death, which I don't, because Star Wars is not a documentary. If you're easily grossed out, I recommend skipping this entire section and going straight to chapter 5, or maybe getting another book that's less disturbing than this one, like one about kittens or genocide. Still there? Good. Let's continue. I remember, as a kid, watching the Cosby Family prepare for dinner on TV, and thinking how odd it was that no one was covered in blood, because this was a typical night in our house. My father, an avid bow hunter, would lumber inside the house with a deer slung over his shoulder. He'd fling it across the dining room table, and then my parents would dissect it and pull out all the useful parts, like some sort of terrible piñata. It was disgusting, but it was the only life I knew. So I assumed that everyone else was just like us. The only thing that seemed weird about it to me was that I was the only person in the whole house who gagged at the smell of deer blood. My parents tried to convince me that blood doesn't have a smell, but they are fucking liars. Also, they told me that milk does have a smell, and that's ridiculous, and I'm shocked that their lies have spread so far. Milk doesn't have a smell, blood does, and I think I'm so sensitive to the smell of a dead deer because of the time when I accidentally walked inside one. I was about 9 years old, and I was playing chase with my sister while my father was cleaning a deer. I'm going to interrupt myself here for a small educational explanation about what that means to clean a deer. Cleaning a deer, for people who are sensitive members of PETA. You get some warm water and tearless shampoo and gently massage the deer. Lather, rinse, but don't repeat, even though the bottle says to, because that's just a ploy to sell more shampoo. Blow dry on low heat and hot glue a bow to its forehead. Send him back to the woods to meet a nice Jewish doe. Go to the next chapter. Cleaning a deer, for curious, non-judgmental readers who really want to know how it's done, and who aren't PETA members who are just pretending to be curious, non-judgmental readers, but who really want to throw blood on me at book signings. Cleaning a deer consists of tying the arms and legs of the deer to a clothesline-like contraption, making it look as if the dead deer is a cheerleader doing "Give me an X" move. Then you slice open the stomach and all the stuff you don't want falls out, like the genitals and the poop rope. Cleaning a deer, for people who clean deer all the time. I know, right? Can you believe there are people who don't know this shit? Weird. These are probably the same people who call the poop rope the intestines. We all know it's a poop rope, people. Saying it in French doesn't make it any less disgusting. Anyway, my dad had just finished cleaning the deer when I made a recklessly fast ninja-like U-turn to avoid getting tagged by my sister. And that's when I ran. Right the fuck inside of the deer. It took me a moment to realize what had happened, and I stood there, kind of paralyzed and not ninja-like at all. The best way I can describe it is that it was kind of like I was wearing a deer sweater. Sometimes people laugh at that, but it's not an amused laugh. More of an involuntary, nervous giggle of, what the fuckness? Probably because you aren't supposed to wear deer for sweaters. You're not supposed to throw up inside them either, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. I'd like to think that my father threw that deer away because I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to eat food you've worn or vomited into. But while he was hosing me off, he was also hosing off the deer, so my guess is that he applied some sort of fucked up Grizzly Adams version of the 5-second rule. Food on the floor is still edible as long as you pick it up within 5 seconds. Unless it's peanut butter, then the 5-second rule is null. Or, if it's something like dry toast, the 5-second rule is extended to, like, a week and a half. Because, really, what's going to get on dry toast? Nothing. That's what. God, I could write a whole book on the 5-second rule. That should totally be the follow-up book to this one. The 5-second rule as it applies to various foodstuffs. Brilliant. But now I've forgotten what I was writing about. Oh yeah. Throwing up inside a deer sweater. Right. And that's why I still suspect that my dad took the horribly defiled deer sweater to eat. Except I didn't eat it. Because after that, the smell of blood made me gag. And to this day, I can't eat any meat that I've seen or smelled raw. Which my husband complains about all the time. But until he's worn a deer sweater, he can just shut the hell up. He says it's all in my mind, but it's totally not. And I've even offered to take some sort of blind smell test, like they did in the Pepsi challenge, where he holds up bowls of blood to my nose so that I can prove that I can smell blood. But he won't do it. Probably because he's some kind of anal about our bowls, but he wouldn't even let me use one for throwing up in when I was sick. He was all